You know when you meet somebody and you kind of like them, you think they're really nice, but you're pretty sure that you didn't leave the best impression ever. You feel like maybe they don't really like you and therefore the relationship, the friendship is doomed, maybe even before it even started. Today we talk about your kids, their friends, and how they can feel more likable based on brand new research. It's a Doctor's Desk episode of the Happy Families podcast. Real parenting solutions every day, Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. Kylie, there's this thing called the liking gap. Researchers have known for years about this thing with kids as young as 5 as well as adults. After meeting someone for the first time, we often underestimate how much they like us. Have you ever had that happen? You're laughing like, maybe, yes. I mean, it's me all the time.
I have a great story.
Feel like an imposter, that kind of thing. What's your story?
It involves your mum.
Oh. Now I'm nervous.
Very, very first time you took me home to introduce me to your parents.
Yes. Yes.
You took me down into the backyard to meet your dad, who was watching your younger twin sisters.
Yeah, I have 2 sets of twin sisters. I mean, whoa. And my youngest set of twin sisters like 15 years younger than me.
Yeah, I think they were about 6 at the time, and they were playing on the swing set.
Right.
And so your dad he looked over, he gave me a smile, wasn't interested in engaging in any conversation.
Sounds like my dad.
Your sisters were oblivious because, they were too busy playing.
And they were 6.
You then took me upstairs and your mum was in the kitchen kind of organising dinner, and she was putting plates together for you and I. And the next thing, your sisters ran up the stairs and literally jumped on my lap while I was sitting on the table and couldn't get enough of me in that moment.
I don't remember any of this.
But your mum, she obviously acknowledged me and she said hello, but she sat down next to us at the table and proceeded to have a conversation with you that I would have felt was a bit too personal for someone you've never met before. And I didn't know where to be in the room.
My mum doesn't have filters. I mean, let's be honest. If she needs to say it, she needs to say it.
She wanted to know what you were going to do with the rest of your life.
Okay.
Like literally, this was an urgent conversation that couldn't wait until I was not there.
So did she not say anything like, "Hi Kylie, tell me about yourself"?
No, she did not.
She just launched into me.
She launched into this conversation with you. And I sat there the whole time thinking, she hates me. She absolutely hates me. It wasn't until later that she shared with me that the reason she had that conversation with you was she actually was pretty confident that I was the one.
Right. She didn't talk to you. You just walked into the house, but you're the one.
I'm the one. She felt really good about me, and she just felt like she didn't have to put on any pretense, that she could just be her and she didn't need to worry about me because I was going to be a part of the family sooner or later.
Well, welcome to the family. So I'm hearing this story and we've gone so far from where we're supposed to be going with the Doctor's Desk research, but I don't know much of this story, even though I apparently was there. Might be worth highlighting that within 2 weeks of that conversation happening, I had proposed. We only dated for 2.5 weeks. And then we had like an 11-month engagement while I was in Mount Isa and you were in Brisbane, and we got married. It's been 28 years. Like how awesome is that? But the liking gap was there. So you've walked out thinking,
I did. I honestly thought she hates me. Hated me.
She hates me. How long?
It wasn't just disliked. I actually thought she hated me.
I don't know how I don't know this story. How long was it between you having that interaction with my mum and you discovering that she didn't hate you at all and that she felt so comfortable that she felt like she could talk to you about it?
I don't think we had that conversation till well and truly after you and I were married. But obviously I knew she didn't hate me by the time. Sure. But I mean, maybe she was rewriting history. Was she even aware that you're in the room is what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's talk about this. Clearly, you've experienced the liking gap. You've had a first impression with somebody, think that they don't like you very much, and they actually like you quite a lot. Some researchers at the University of Toronto have done this really cool study. Hesegani, Tissera, and colleagues found hints as to why some people experience bigger liking gaps than others. And no surprise, it has to do with your mental health. It has to do with your self-esteem. It has to do with your anxiety. But basically, here's what they found. They did 3 different groups, 3 different studies, if you will. The first group, 863 strangers.
They do this round robin getting to know you session. Each chat lasts 2 or 3 minutes. So it's kind of like speed dating, I guess, but without the romantic overtures. And they had to also fill in a scale that assessed their self-esteem, their social anxiety, their loneliness, their life satisfaction, their perceptions of having positive relationships with other people, and their neuroticism. Second group, 378 university students. They've had conversations with a series of conversation partners about anything they wanted to talk about for 12 minutes. And those students were just asked to report on their self-esteem. That was all they were measured on. Third group, I know there's a lot of information, but it'll all make sense in just a sec. Third group, 1,465 US-based adults have some online digital chats for 25 minutes with a stranger, just one conversation. And they're completing measures of neuroticism and loneliness. After each conversation, regardless of which group, every participant had to rate how much they liked their conversation partner and how much they thought their conversation partner liked them. That way, they get to, the analysis gets to look at, well, what was your perception, what was theirs, and how much do they marry up? Is there a liking gap? And they also had to just say, well, this is how much I liked the meeting. And what the researchers found, consistent with previous data, is that the overwhelming majority of participants felt as though their conversation partners liked them much less than they actually did. They had the liking gap that you've just described when it came to that first conversation that you had with my mum.
It's interesting to me. I know we're talking about like first time conversations.
Correct.
But I look at even some of the close relationships I have in my life, and I have been blown away at times when they've actually expressed how deeply they feel about me. I know that they're my friend. I know that they love and appreciate me, but the times that they've actually shared specifically how they feel has just, it's blown me away, because I would never have assumed the depth to their feelings.
As you're saying that, you've just prompted something really big for me. I think this is super important that I hadn't planned on mentioning in this pod. But when I wrote Misconnection, that book about teenage girls, I asked girls what made their lives the best, and they said friends. And then I said, what makes your life the worst? And they said friends. But have a listen to some of these quotes. I've just dragged it up as you were sharing precisely that story. This is what some of the girls said to me, and I quote, word perfect. Quote, none of my friends really like me. I worry that people don't like me. How my close friends actually see me. I have a massive fear that everyone around me is just putting up with me until I leave them alone. This one said, the thing I worry about most is that by the end of high school, people are still going to think of me as a nerd with no boyfriend and no social life. This worries me because what if it's true? And so what you can hear is this desperation. Like, in fact, one girl said, here's another quote, fitting in. I really love my current group of friends, but sometimes I feel like I just generally don't fit in. In other words, while this study and most research on the liking gap refers to initial introduction relationships, this is ongoing, right? I mean, even as an adult, I know I do. Sometimes I think, I wonder if my friends actually like me as much as I like them. Because I'm so grateful for my friends, but I'm the one that often makes the calls. They're not calling me. Does that mean that they don't like me as much?
Yeah.
There's this liking gap. So after the break, because we've talked way too long because I got carried away with what the girls are saying. After the break, we're going to talk about 2, 3, maybe 4 things that you can do as a parent if your kids are feeling insecure about their relationships and feel like they're not necessarily well liked, whether it's meeting new people or in their current friendship group, to make the relationship feel safer and stronger. Okay, Kylie, the liking gap, the data is there. The results are in. We feel like people don't like us as much as we hope that they like us, and not as much as we like them. And it seems that it's mostly not true. Like, most people like us more than we think, not less. Most people accept us more than we think, not less. Obviously, if you're being bullied, you're hanging around with the wrong people, there's need to change things up. But this matters. When you listen to the details of that study, does anything stand out to you? Like, what would you say to parents based on what this liking gap research seems to indicate?
I think back to that first meeting with your mum and the things that we've already discussed so far.
I'm sorry, this sounds like this was so pivotal in your life and I don't even remember it. I feel so bad. Anyway, back to the meeting.
Well, you were getting a hammering from her that day.
Yeah, probably.
And you've acknowledged the importance of self-esteem and confidence, and I think back to who I was back then. I'd grown up with that generation where kids were supposed to be seen and not heard, and so I never really felt like I had a voice. Had I have been someone who was confident in myself, and knowing your mum as well as I do now, she would have relished. And absolutely, she would have literally drawn every last breath out of me when it came to what my opinion was based on your conversation with her.
She's that person, yeah.
She would have wanted it. But I didn't have the confidence or the self-esteem to believe that I had anything worthwhile to share.
And there it is again. There's the self-esteem issue, the anxiety issue. The liking gap exists because of what's going on in our head. It's like imposter syndrome in relationships.
That's right. And so for me, in that moment, I just wanted to dig a big hole and bury myself in it. Like, just get me away from this. Right. And so when I think about what this study is sharing, what it's gifting us, is if we can give our kids a voice. This is really tricky, right? This is really tricky because we really love it when the kids just do what we ask and they don't question us and they don't, talk back to us. But they need to know that their voice matters. They need to know that they actually have amazing things to contribute to the world. And when they feel comfortable to share that, this is less of a problem.
Okay, I've got a quick comment to make about what you've just said, and then I've got 3 quick take-home messages from the study from my mind, from the doctor's mind. You don't like Doctor's Desk episodes. You get frustrated when we have to talk about research science. And look at you go. You are all in. I'm just so excited about this.
I can't believe you're saying that.
Yeah. All right. Here are my 3 take-home messages.
I haven't finished.
Oh, you've got more?
I have.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, you have a voice, so use it.
I think the other one that's really, really important is to assume positive intent.
Right.
We are constantly assuming the negative when we think about other people. Oh, they mustn't like me.
Yep.
I was so silly. I can't believe I said that.
We get so in our heads.
And it's all about us, essentially.
Yep. We are the center of our own universe.
Yes, about us. But if we would give positive intent to other people and give them the benefit of the doubt, that would make such a difference to our interactions on a day-to-day basis.
We're ultra social. We're supposed to make friends. We're supposed to connect with people. It's how we're built. It's how we're designed. And I just love that. Okay, may I now share my useful take-homes from this study for parents if their kids are struggling with friends, or have you got more?
Go for it.
Okay, here we go. I need to do this quickly because we're almost out of time. Thank you so much for taking over my Doctor's Desk episode. Here's the bottom line from the study from my perspective. Your child walks away from interactions feeling like they've bombed, when in reality they've probably scored and they don't even know it. And if they have low self-esteem or if they have any sort of anxiety or anything like that, that's only going to be amplified and exacerbated. So we need to teach our kids one simple truth, and that is that the person they've just met probably likes them a lot more, not less than they imagine. And if they're in a long-term relationship with a group of friends, like the girls that I read out from my Misconnection book, then that is only more the case. Now, is it true that there are sometimes ruffling of friendship feathers? Yeah, of course. But that doesn't mean that they don't like you. That just means that relationships can be tricky sometimes, and we repair, and then we rupture, and then we repair, and then we rupture, and that's the nature of relationships.
But I think it's really important to highlight within that a lack of self-confidence and self-esteem play a huge part in the ruffling of feathers more times than not.
Well, and that brings me to the second takeaway from the study, and that is that your child's insecurity is probably the problem rather than their actual likability. Your child is likable, but their insecurity makes them feel like they are not likable. It's the insecurity that makes them feel like they're unlovable. The math doesn't lie here. When we teach them that friendship anxiety is a software bug rather than a hardware problem, what they then know is, oh, okay, so people can like me, people do like me, I'm the one that's getting anxious about this, there's not really a problem here at all. I mean, what a confidence booster. It's hard to argue with the voice in your head that's saying the opposite, but the data bears it out. Third one, I think that we need to teach our kids to focus on the quality of the interaction rather than obsessing over this invisible scoreboard in their head. When they're fully present in conversations, when they're engaged, when they're asking questions, when they're listening, when they're sharing ideas, the anxiety-inducing mental math becomes completely irrelevant. they can make friends, they're likable, they're worthy, and that I think this is a study that gives us great hope if we can just help our children to understand that they're in their heads too much. But if they can just accept that because they're having an interaction with somebody and because it's ended on a positive note, it's probably gone well, that should be enough. So that's my doctor's desk. That's our doctor's desk. We will link to the study in the show notes for those who are interested in the social psychology of the likability gap. I think it's fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for listening. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. For more information and more resources to make your family happier, visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.